everyone, welcome to the Shrink Shake Pod.
This is Utkarsha.
And I am Tina.
And we're two shrinks who love to yap.
And also shake things up.
So, the Shrink Shake Pod. This is for us, for you, for anybody who wants to talk about, listen to us talk about, and just share opinions on mental health and, just the experience of being human.
Yeah. And before we get into our second episode, this is a very important disclaimer that this podcast is in no way, shape, or form a replacement for therapy. But if you do need therapy, we do offer those services. We're a team of 6 psychologists, and you can find all our contact details in the info box below.
Yeah. And just follow at the Coping Central on Instagram, YouTube, subscribe, like, share, Spotify, all these platforms where we are at.
We're everywhere.
Yes.
Everywhere.
So this is the Shrink Shake Pod by the Coping Central. And Tina, what are we talking about today?
I guess I will have to start with a question. How many times have you asked your clients to sit with their feelings?
I feel like every day. Like every once every session, and that means every day so many times. Although I am also sometimes confused what it really means. I mean, like now I know. But when I started saying it, I was just like, what does it even mean?
Yeah.
Like we're just sitting with each other right now. Are we sitting with feelings?
Are you my feelings?
Maybe.
That's essentially what we're speaking about today. I mean, these words are all over the internet, no? We've seen it on Instagram, we've seen it on YouTube. Friends talk about it. Sit with your feelings, unpack boundaries.
Just feel your feelings.
Feel your feelings, feel to heal.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Like, you don't heal from what you don't feel. Something like that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So essentially unpacking not big,
common therapy terms.
Common therapy terms or metaphors.
Yeah. And we really feel like that in the past few years, few months, whatever. Like I think since the last 4-5 years, therapy talk has become big on Instagram, big on the social media channels we use, has become a part of our everyday language.
Yeah.
And I do feel like it's time to kind of also talk about what they really mean. And sometimes, we might just use a word and we might not exactly know what it means, but it's just, I feel like that's where we step in.
Yeah. It looks like more of a dive. But sure, let's dive into that.
So let's dive into what therapy terms, a few, maybe 6 common ones.
Yes. Yeah. And before we get into this, do any one of you want to go down to the comment section and tell us what are some therapy terms you've heard? And maybe we could do another rendition on this one.
Yeah, we can. We can obviously. We just need things to talk about. So you tell us what you want us to talk about and we'll do that.
We really will. Like, it's a challenge.
This is a threat.
This is a threat.
We will talk.
We will be talking.
But yeah, so therapy terms, Instagram therapy terms, common phrases, metaphors. So the one I have for you is, tell me, what does holding space mean?
This is one of my most favorite examples or like concepts, if we may, in therapy. And holding space can feel really confusing, no? Like, how do you really hold space? Do I just go around you like this and then I'm maybe this much you can feel. After that, it's on you. But essentially, if I have to explain it using an example, let's say I have a kid and my kid has had a terrible nightmare and he's woken up and he's like, oh my god, that was so scary. But I've also had a long day. So he comes down and he's like, Mom, I've had a really terrible nightmare. And I'm in no way or in the mood or have the space to understand. And I'm just like, dude, like, whatever, just go to sleep. So that feeling does not get held, essentially. That feeling can spiral on to, oh, what if monsters are real? Will this happen again? Am I the only one who's feeling it? Is this like a unique experience? What do I do with it? How do I make sense of it? No, whether like as compared to if I had the space or if I took the time and just went like, hey, like I also get nightmares and they're very common, but they're not real and you're okay, you're safe. So it's like this boundary around an emotion. That's what I understand it as. What has your experience been like?
Yeah, no, that's correct. I feel like while you were also talking about it, validation. But as you were talking about it, I was also kind of, thinking about this sort of, it's like the games we play as a child, and then you make like a circle and you have
Yeah.
to play, just like stay in the circle and you can't go out.
Yeah.
So you kind of make that circle around the feeling, and the feeling's like, okay, I'll stay inside, not go out. It's not in the rules. It's not something that's allowed. So I'll stick to this space, and I feel like that also helps so much because when we come into therapy, we come with like big feelings and big emotions, and all of us spiral, right? Like
Sort of
all of us,
overpouring.
like this constant this, because we're also always surrounded by information.
Mhm.
So we're constantly spiraling, or just like emotions are just like
Yeah.
flowing everywhere. So I think what a therapist does is like make these,
Pools.
yeah, or like these chalk lines,
Yeah.
and then it's like, hey, you sit here, you sit here, you sit here, you sit here. You can talk to each other, but nobody can cross into each other's
Yeah.
circles. So I think
love
holding
that.
space is, it's that.
Like dividing a big pool into a kiddie pool and then a
Yeah,
deep
and
end pool.
everybody kind of stays in their lane.
Yeah.
Staying in their lane, moisturize, hydrated.
Unbothered, hydrated.
Yeah, so that's what holding space is, right?
Mm.
Like, so if you hear your therapist, if you hear your friends say that they're holding space for you, I think what they mean, or what you can also expect from them, is not necessarily undoing the emotion that you're feeling,
Yeah.
or just like fixing it and just like it just magically disappears. It's just that, okay, you're feeling a feeling, come. It's
I'll
like,
give you space. It's like a little
Yeah.
warm hug.
yeah, it's like a hug for your emotion. Then you can
Yeah.
also, and also when people physically hug people, right?
That's
It's just that
holding.
I'll hold you. You can't go anywhere. Like in a nice way, not in a.
Are we about to hug right now?
That's
I don't have any emotions that need
rejection.
holding.
That's just rejection at this. But yeah, so holding space basically means a little hug for your emotions,
Yeah.
so that they don't flail away.
That's quite sweet. And I think also, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know how to articulate this better. Bringing back articulation in a, I don't know whatever. But it feels like we give emotions too much importance than what they really need. If that makes sense, that you
Mhm.
know, like it just might need a small hug.
Yeah.
It doesn't need a huge explanation on
Yeah.
why is it here, what is its intention. It can just come up, no? Like, hey, like my ice cream fell down, I feel bad.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
shit,
like
that
why do you
sucks.
feel bad? It's just an ice cream.
Yeah.
What's the problem? And then you go into analysis. Oh my god, I'm
Yeah.
So sometimes you just don't need, like, you don't have to analyze your emotions. It's not maths. It's feelings.
And math sucks.
Yeah.
Don't do math.
Don't do math.
Don't.
But anyway, I think it's this. It's
Yeah.
holding space is just
Little hug.
a little hug for emotions.
That's so
So if
warm
you
and fuzzy.
want your emotions to be hugged, you can tell your friends that you want to be held space
Hugged.
for.
Yes, held space for. Like, I would really appreciate some space for this feeling that is coming on. I don't need a solution for it. And I probably know what I'm going to do. I just
Yeah.
need someone to witness it.
Yeah, and just
Yeah.
somebody to be there while I do my own
Yeah.
stuff. But yeah, moving on to the next one. If
Let me see. We have a big list of this. What do we understand by what an attachment style is?
oh, that's a big one. I
Yeah.
feel like everywhere on Instagram.
You have to answer this. You're an expert with relationships.
Am I?
Ex-
Am I?
I mean,
An
yeah.
expert, it seems. Anyway, I don't call myself an
She
expert.
is.
Nobody. is.
That's just cap.
So anyway, I think attachment styles, it's something that we see a lot on Instagram. All relationship coaches, all relationship therapists say, oh, what's your attachment style?
Can
I
you
feel-
explain it to me like I'm 5?
Sure.
Not more than that.
How you show up
Yeah.
in any relationship with anybody around you. More specifically, romantic relationships, because I feel like a lot of us kind of does show up there because of multiple reasons. But I feel like how you show up in relationships and how you're responding to who you're with is what your attachment style is. Now, the funny thing about attachment styles, and what I feel like the internet has done, is kind of it tells people that, oh, this is your attachment style, and that's it. Like, that's a full stop. But it's
Yeah.
not true. Attachment styles, in fact, really kind of come from different places. We can have multiple. It can have, like, we can have like you and I can have different attachment style. I can have a different attachment style with a couple of my other friends, with maybe somebody I'm with my sister, with people around me, my parents. So attachment style can also be very different.
So like
Depending,
relationship specific.
yeah, it can be.
Interesting.
It can be relationship specific because again, what is having a secure attachment if not being told every day that you're loved and the other person is going to stay here and they're not going to go anywhere, right?
Yeah.
What if your friends are like really nice and they tell you this every day, but somebody that you're dating withdraws or they don't tell you that? So maybe you're like really anxious in your relationship with somebody you're dating, but with your friends you're like really secure and you feel nice and you feel loved. So it doesn't mean your attachment style is just one thing and it just stays like that. It's one, of course, how we show up, what are the things we're scared of, what is it that we are carrying from when we were younger.
Yeah.
Because that's the core, that okay, it gets formed in childhood and then we kind of take it to when we're adults, but it also gets formed in the relationships depending on who we're with. So it's not just how we show up, but it's also how we respond to the people around us. So yeah.
Interesting.
Do you feel like you've seen different kind of attachment styles in the same person?
Now that I think of it, yes. Also, my mind is just going at 140 kilometers per hour because this is new to me. And for anyone who does not know, this one's also been my mentor. So I have a document on every device. It's just notes that she tells me. So I was like, I need to take a note. Stop it. Stop it. There's no pearls. Like harsh rocks.
Pearls of wisdom.
What is that thing called?
Oyster.
Chillax. No, like
pearl.
granite. Granite of wisdom.
Marbles.
Marbles?
Like I feel like with every concept, every theoretical idea that we have, nothing's very black and white, right?
Yeah,
like even
100%.
with attachment styles, it's really not just like okay, one definition that exists and that's there. I feel like what Instagram or what social media does is that it's divided into key. Okay, you're secure, you're anxious, you're avoidant, and this is what you have to do. But somebody who has an avoidant attachment style might just be responding to, say, like somebody else's anxiety.
Yeah.
And if both of them talk and figure things out, or they go to therapy, figure their own stuff out, they might just bring out a lot of security in each other. So attachment style is also very fluid.
Love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a great granite of wisdom.
Granites of wisdom, it seems. So the yap is that attachment styles are not set in stone. They change with our relationships, they change with who we are responding to. Of course, there are certain characteristics that can come in from our childhood, from how we've been raised, from the parents that we've had, or just like in the Indian context, the larger family system, the entire sort of caregiving system that we've had. But I feel like that it's not just limited to that, okay, you're just an anxious person, so you have an anxious attachment style. It goes way, way, way far beyond than that.
Yeah, man. Like, I got worried. I was scrolling Instagram and then, of course, like, it makes sense, no? At some point in life, you're bound to feel some anxiety.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, is this who I am? And I'm just panic calling my therapist. I'm like, hey, anxious avoidance.
I've known the most anxious people in the world have the most secure attachment styles. Because one, the world that we live in, I feel like it's designed to make us scared of everything. So one is that, of course. And there are real dangers outside. Like for people, multiple sort of communities that like you can't not be anxious, I feel. But that doesn't mean you have an anxious attachment style. You can have a really loving set of community, relationships, people around you who just hold space. The more emotional hugs you get, the more secure you get.
Always remember.
Call back.
Call back?
Call back to holding space.
Call back.
Call back to holding space. But yeah, so I think that's what we mean by attachment styles. So the next time you're scrolling Instagram, don't just believe like 5 symptoms and see like, oh, I'm anxious.
I feel like in general,
I'm anxiously attached.
I feel like you're too big as a person at any age to be reduced down to 5 lines.
Yeah, it's
No,
true.
like,
Yeah.
you're this. I'm saying.
I'm saying with my 500 degrees that you,
People with 0 degrees also saying, but theek hai, like,
Yeah.
whatever. But
I am saying that you are avoidant.
thanks, yaar. Thank you.
This is your treatment. Follow it.
Thanks. Didn't work. What
Like,
worked?
like I feel like if that's how simple, if therapy was that simple, I would have, like, everybody would have EQ of, like, I don't know, whatever
45.
EQ goes up
I
to.
don't-
I don't know. I don't know what does EQ have a number?
I don't know. I feel like that's defeating the whole purpose. If EQ as a number. If you're putting math into emotions, you've lost the plot.
It's true. Imagine EQ having. I'm sure it does. It's just that
I was
we
just
don't
lying.
know.
I am at a 3000 EQ. I am
Yeah.
emotions personified.
I'll hold you.
No need.
Okay, so that was attachment style. Now, my question to you is, what are triggers?
I love this.
Internet favorite.
I love triggers. You love your phone, yes, you're constantly
I am
on it.
it.
Obsessed with it. Imagine how it would feel if just noises kept coming out of it with no notification display. Exactly. Just ding, 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 ding.
It's a lot.
It's a
It's a
lot. It's so overwhelming. It's so unsettling to not know what's coming up where. So notifications, triggers. I like little notifications from your body.
Oh, that's so nice.
That, hey, like, shit, that doesn't feel nice. Can we do something about it? Or like, hey, I feel angry because of what that person did. Do you want to say something? Or I feel really sad because of XYZ thing. Can we give it a little hug?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
a little notification, and I feel like there's so much importance placed on disabling that notification instead of understanding it, that it kind of defeats the entire purpose.
Yeah.
And like, again, this is my favorite phrase. You'll hear me say it 700 times in a second. The body has a lot of wisdom. So if we take the wisdom from the body away, what are we left with?
Yeah. Yeah, no, and I think taking your metaphor also, like, a step
Ahead.
forward, is also this, that, like you said, that it's, if you disable the notifications, doesn't mean you're not getting messages, doesn't mean your phone is not kind of filling up. Like, it's still filling up.
Yeah.
There are still noises coming up, or like, even if you put it on silent, you disable notifications, you
Yeah.
keep it aside, it's still getting filled up. And that's what the entire point of emotions is.
This is a metaphor come full circle. The phone keeps the score.
It does.
It
It does. It
Where
does.
is it?
It's
This
recording.
bad boy.
Oh, I thought the phone.
No. The multiverse. But yeah, essentially, like, it will keep getting filled up, no? And then how many apps do you look at? What all do you open? How many times do you have to search through things to remember or to keep in track who texted? Where did this happen? Where did that happen? So
Yeah.
I think,
So I think with triggers, then what you need, like with notifications, triggers, whatever you wanna call it, it's almost like just knowing, okay, what tune is for what
yeah.
notification. I know if it's like a ding, it's a Snapchat notification. It's ding, it's WhatsApp. So I can just attend to that as and when I have the bandwidth, of course.
This just reminds you of the Brooklyn Nine-Nine episode. Bloop. I've gotten a message I must attend to.
But it's true, like your body is giving you messages.
And your body is so smart. This is something I say a lot in therapy, that there is no mechanism the body will deploy to harm you, because you don't exist outside of it. It's not like I'm here and you're my body, and then I'm like, it's just me looking after me.
I'm just visualizing. Interesting.
But yeah, listen to your body, man. It loves you, and
Yeah.
it wants to keep you safe.
Yeah, so I think the yap is that triggers are basically notifications from your body, and it's like a sign, right? Like, there's a outer world and you exist inside of your body, and then it's like if something not great is happening outside, triggers like a warning from your body that hey, just pay attention to this. I don't feel great about it. It's like a preemptive. It can be preemptive. It can be like a post thing. Yeah.
but essentially like a message. Your body is actively trying to communicate something with you, and we don't want to shut down that
Yeah.
window. No, we can, of course, like if the window feels too heavy to deal with, we can often like rely on friends, therapy, family, community. But essentially, don't close the windows, man.
Yeah, just attend to the window, see what's happening, and then just
Yeah.
then close it. Like
Then
once it's
close
done,
it.
then you close
Hmm.
it. So you attend to the triggers, you see what's happening, you relieve it in a certain way, and then however it comes up again.
That's what.
Yeah,
Pretty simple, actually. I'm
sweet.
kidding. It's not simple.
Like
Work
triggers
goes
can be a
into it.
lot. Like I feel like we're also explaining it very.
Aram se.
Yeah.
Triggers can be a lot, and they can be really heavy. They can be debilitating. But again, going through that whole example, that find those pockets of safety,
Yeah.
where you can open those windows, and then essentially understanding that, okay, like my body is not trying to harm me. The
Yeah.
consequences can feel like that,
Yeah.
but it's not trying to do that.
And like your trigger can be like a harmless
Yeah.
food app notification,
Notification.
or it's a notification of like your phone is about to be on fire. Save it. Like
What
a
kind
big
of
notification. It is.
Yeah, like
your
a
phone-
storm warning.
Yeah. So it can be anything.
Hmm.
Different in intensity, of course.
Yeah.
But it's a message.
Which we shouldn't, like, don't ignore messages. I feel like,
That's just not nice.
yeah,
You
I'll
can't
ignore
ghost your
message.
own body. You can't.
Please. No, but I need you to say this to the larger audience, please. Mhm.
So the outcome of this gap is that triggers are like notifications from your own body, and ignoring those triggers are like ghosting people. And you can't ghost your own body. Like you can't, like that doesn't make sense. You can't ghost your own body. That's
Yeah, to bring some math into
I'm
this,
going
it's
to
like,
I'm going to tell this to all my clients
Me
at this
too. I
point
love
of time.
it.
Like this is
you can't
should we
ghost-
get it trademarked
We should.
by the Coping Center?
Shit. Yes.
Patent pending.
Patent
You can't
pending.
ghost your own body.
You can't. We need a t-shirt that says
Yeah. Oh, let's
shit. Merch. Comment down.
Second
episode.
episode. Second episode.
3 people are watching this. Merch. It's you, me. Redacted. Yeah, I'm commenting right now. Merch, please.
Yeah.
Okay, I have my favorite one. What does it mean to sit with your feelings?
Oh ho ho.
Please.
That though. The hot favorite.
The hot topic.
The hot topic.
The hottest one in town. Sitting with feelings. Sitting
Feelings.
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 Yeah.
Sitting. Sitting.
Explained.
With
This is
feelings.
the end of the episode, guys. We've understood everything there was to understand. Therapy is over. Done. Everyone's cured. We've just sat with our
We just sat
We're
with us.
sat.
Sat with us.
Sat.
Anyway, coming back to articulation.
Mm-hmm.
I think sitting with your feelings literally just means that your feelings are in the room, so you're sitting with them. It doesn't mean you're actually only sitting and feeling everything there is to feel. I feel like it comes in like, oh, like if I'm feeling angry or
Yeah.
upset or bummed about something, that feeling can just stay at the back of my head while I'm continuing to do whatever I'm doing and not necessarily shutting that up. So I think like how I see it is that there's this little person inside of your head, and that person's telling you, hey, I'm sad, I'm sad, I'm sad, I'm sad, I'm sad. And instead of shutting down, like, shut up, no need to be sad, go back to your room. You don't need to do that.
Yeah.
You need to be like, hey, I'm sad, I'm sad, I'm sad. You're like, I know you're sad, I know you're sad. It's okay, I'll finish this Excel sheet and come back to you. I'll just go on a run and I'll come back to you. So as you're doing whatever you're doing, and you're letting the person be like, I'm sad, I'm sad, I'm sad. You're automatically telling them that you're not going away,
Yeah.
but you're also not necessarily, leaving everything to only sit with this constantly. So it kind of finds its own rhythm, I think.
This is just reminding me of, how the other day you said like a sweet voice.
Yeah.
So like a reassuring
it's like
sweet
a-
voice. Like I'm
It's like
sad, I'm
a
sad,
sweet
I'm
one.
sad.
Yeah.
It's okay, I'm here. We'll figure.
Yeah. So I feel like that sitting with your feelings just means that you let your feelings be. You let them exist inside of your head. You let them exist If you want to cry, you cry. You want to sleep, you sleep. You want to run, you run. Why do you just let the feeling be there? I think the
Yeah.
problem really comes in when you're actively distracting yourself from the feeling, or you're just like
Why?
lying to yourself.
Yeah, like there's no need to feel this way.
Yeah, like why are you feeling? What's the problem? Nothing. I feel nothing.
Yeah.
I'm strong.
Me,
Yeah.
like, yeah, but so this reminds me that a question that comes up a lot, especially in the Indian context, is that if you're feeling sad or if you're crying, the question that anyone might ask is, why are you crying? Why are you sad? What happened? Itna kya ho gaya that you're feeling this much? But then no one stops to ask that what happened that you're crying this much? What happened that you're feeling all of these big feelings? So I think sort of like restructuring
Yeah.
the story or the narrative around it,
Yeah.
that okay, what happened, like you okay, you want to cry, you had a bad day at work,
Yeah, tell me
Cry.
later also. Yeah. Like we also get pressurized in that moment to justify that feeling so much
yeah
that if I'm feeling angry, it has to be something really bad. What if I'm just angry because the dude at the coffee shop was really bad with me or like rude
Yeah.
with me? I'm just mad. I'm mad at the world.
Just
Like what
anger.
happened? Why are you so angry? Stranger hi to tha, whatever. Like,
Yeah.
but I'm feeling a certain way, so I'm feeling a certain way.
And also, like, if you go out to essay, like, find rationalizations for your emotions, you'll get 100 of them.
Yeah, like I feel like it's very easy to
It's the easiest thing in the world. You
To-
name any emotion, I can rationalize it.
yeah, not you can give logic, you can justify, you can do whatever,
Yeah.
but the sitting with your feelings is actually opposite of it. It's not rationalizing it. Even if you're feeling something that's irrational, letting it be there.
Because abhi theek hai, like, if you find a rationalization, okay, then what?
The feeling doesn't
The
go
feeling
away.
doesn't go
It's
away.
still there. You still have to sit with it.
So
I
might
think
as well. So it's like giving space to your emotions and like getting a soft, reassuring voice.
Yeah, I feel like the short of it,
The yap
the yap
is
is that sitting with your feeling basically just means that you let your feelings exist as they are and you continue to do whatever you're doing
yeah
without shutting that voice off or
Yeah.
without kind of running away from it. So you just run with it.
Yeah.
It can be uncomfortable. That's not like the discomfort.
100%.
Comfort is a separate thing, but it's necessary.
The process looks like that. And again, sure, I think a lot of times when these therapy terms also come into place, we have this expectation that doing this will be easy. That if I always say this, like if I say this to a client, I say that I know it's easy for me to say, but you're gonna have to sit with those feelings. That it's fine, discomfort will come up, you come back, we'll talk about it. But yeah, I forgot, like I can't bring back articulation, but essentially what I was saying was that it's difficult, man, no one's denying that, but sometimes you have to do things scared.
Yeah.
No? Pete
Yeah.
Walker, my best friend.
But
It
I
is-
think, yeah, this is it. Like, I think sitting
Yeah.
with your feelings just means not running away from that.
Yeah.
Simple.
Don't run.
Yeah, no need to run.
No need. Like, it's a little voice crying, I'm sad. What poor guy has done to deserve? Like, shut up.
No need. No need to be rude to yourself.
Rude to your feelings.
Yeah.
Or yourself. I'll be rude to you.
No need. No need to rude to be me also. I'm feeling.
Shut up, love.
I'm feeling.
Your
But-
feelings. I'm feeling something.
Nice to meet you.
I've decided I'm gonna use the phrase "nice to make your acquaintance" now.
And there's no need.
Nice
of
to
it.
make your acquaintance.
I'm not sitting
May
with
I-
this feeling. I'm not sitting with this feeling of
May I-
confidence
May I please
and
quench my thirst?
that's British.
British.
Okay, so next one that
Hmm.
we have is what are boundaries? The internet favorite, boundaries. The enemy of
The
any
enemy.
Indian household. Boundaries.
Oh my god. I think it is high time. I need all influencers to come out and give me one collective definition of what a boundary is.
Yeah.
Because it's just like abhi we're sitting together. Like, this is my space.
This is a
Go hell.
boundary.
A boundary.
Okay, let's say what a boundary isn't. Boundary isn't entitlement.
Boundary isn't entitlement.
Boundary isn't being horrible to other people.
Yeah, it's not being rude. Boundary isn't taking up space without understanding how it might make someone else feel.
Yeah.
To give a proper definition, a boundary is essentially a line that can exist in a relationship that helps two people in it be in that relationship better,
Yeah, and relate to each other
relate
better.
to each other. So, a boundary you and I might have is that, I don't know, we don't have boundaries.
Okay, a boundary we might have is no
What?
late night drives in Delhi.
Yeah, no late night drives in Delhi because both of us are women. It's not very safe, and it helps us be safe, and it helps us build on parts of our relationship that we can sort of do things outside of the drive.
Yeah, like we can meet
No?
anytime before 10
Yeah.
p.m. Like,
Sure, why not?
Yeah. So that also helps us relate to each other better. That helps us set expectations, you know, in a way that suits the both of us.
And a boundary in this situation would not be me acting out of a personal fear that no, Utkarsha, you can't go out after 11 p.m. because I'm scared.
Yeah.
Arey, Abhi, she is not scared what to do. What is your sort of like beef with the Instagram definition of
I
boundaries?
think with the Instagram definition of boundaries, I feel like it's too broad. Like it's too broad. It's like everything is a boundary. And that's not true. Right? Like you can't be horrible to other people and be like, oh, this is my boundary. Boundary exists with a lot of emotional responsibility. Boundary exists with a lot of consequences that you probably have to deal with it. Boundary exists, again, being horrible to somebody is also subjective, right? Like I can be setting my boundary and you can feel bad about it, and maybe I'm in the right? But again, like it doesn't mean, so for example, if you are calling me incessantly, I'm like, no bro, like 5 times a day is fine. Like I don't want like 20 calls. Like I don't want 20 calls or whatever. But then that's a boundary. That's a fair boundary. And if you cross it, then it's just you being disrespectful. But if I'm like, oh, you're just a bad person, you're calling me to what's wrong with you, and I kind of make it a whole judgment of who you are as a person, I feel like that's not a boundary. My boundary is to protect me and also to help me connect better with you. If we know that we're only talking 5 times a day on call,
there'll be more intention present.
Yeah, and just like you'll also know then that okay, 5 times I'll have to complete my conversation.
Too much pressure. Never calling you again. But also, like, one last thing to add to it is that my beef with it is that Instagram, like a lot of people on Instagram talk about boundaries as if they come in without communication.
Yeah.
That, you know, main to decide kar liya.
Yeah, like this is
it.
And a boundary is not a universal truth.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
It really isn't, because it's something that's come out of one relationship with 2 or more people as a group effort or whatever. So,
and your boundaries can look very different with different people. Like how you like them, how you relate to them, how you kind of, you know, want to relate to them. So your boundaries also don't have to be like universally existing.
Acceptable or existing.
Bring back
existing. Mazak hai.
But so what's the yap on boundaries?
The yap is that boundaries are sort of thresholds that are communicated, that are accepted, that are not universally enforced, and that don't really encompass being inconsiderate, rude, entitled, and anything else.
Yeah, and just like they can be porous, they can be very tight, they can be semi-porous. So like your boundaries, again, you get to make the rules. Like you get to make the rules. You get to make your boundaries while making them know that you have to be kind to the other person and to yourself as much as possible. Like again, this is a very like a bird's eye view of it. Like it's not with specific situations where you might be harmed or you might be at like very large risk. So that's not it. But in a friendship, in a space where you really want to set a boundary, it needs to be communicated. It needs to come with a lot of responsibility. It needs to
have compassion.
Compassion is
again questionable, but
compassion includes everything, I feel. So that's a good word.
Yeah, I love compassion. It's my favorite word. If my clients are watching this, they're gonna come. Every day this girl is saying compassion.
When will you give me some compassion?
Never, please. Keep your hands away from me. Anyway,
we come to the last
gap of it all.
Yeah. since you were unpacking all of these therapy terms, what does unpacking your feelings mean?
I guess we'll never know. I think that's a good point to end the video. Great reaction.
Like, share, subscribe.
Like,
Bye.
Unpack.
But unpack this on your own. You're done. हो गया अभी. Like done.
My Delhi jump.
The rest, what is unpacking your feelings? Come to therapy and know. Come.
This is marketing. Always remember. One free session for everyone who wants to know what unpacking is.
You give the referral code. Shrink Shake 2.
Shrink Shake 2.
This
That's
is the
the
referral
referral
code.
Come to therapy.
Anyway, jokes aside. I mean,
am
come to
jokes.
therapy, yes.
Yes.
But no referral codes. And
No
all.
referral. Chillax. But what is unpacking? Are you asking me? I'm asking you.
I'm asking you.
Oh my god.
Oh no, you are asking me.
Whoever can you answer?
Let's both answer.
You start.
I think unpacking your feelings is like feelings.
Why did you go the nerd way?
Feelings.
Ma'am, I think unpacking your feelings means
Because it did trigger the notification. That's a notification I got.
Give it
That's
a
a
hug.
notification I got. But anyway, I feel like unpacking your feelings is very much like unpacking a suitcase. It's like, I have a lot of feelings here. And just opens up. It just opens up everything. But unpacking, I think, it's like this thing you do in therapy. You think you do it outside of therapy. It's like sitting with yourself, sitting with a couple of friends, sitting with your therapist, just debriefing them.
Yeah.
Debriefing them about everything that is going on inside, everything that you feel about a certain thing,
Yeah.
everything that a certain thing is making you feel, and then making meaning of it together, making sense of it together.
Yeah, like if I have to give an example, like if I come back from, like if someone comes back from a date,
Yeah.
and then all friends are like, what happened?
Unpacked, yeah.
Unpack. Now you tell what happened, micro analysis of the person's behaviors, what they did, XYZ, what did you eat, who ordered,
Yeah.
who did this.
Because all of this
XYZ.
helps us make meaning, no? Like,
Yeah.
like, oh, were you wearing this color? Were you wearing
Yeah.
that color? Were you matching? Does
That's
that
what.
indicate compatibility? Did you talk about common movies
Yeah.
and everything? So then that helps you make a larger analysis of, hey, are we compatible or not? And that's unpacking,
That's
right?
what.
That you kind of open up your suitcase of feelings and then you pick and choose and see whatever kind of comes out. And then you're like, oh,
Yeah.
this is what I have. I feel like it's also something like it's like a Lego box. I like
That's
to say.
literally what I was
It's
going
like
to say. Oh my god. Like, you know how
Yes.
you go to a friend's house and then you go through their toys.
Yeah.
What all do you
Yeah.
have? Where did you get it? Why do you
Yeah.
have this one?
It's like this.
Yeah.
It's like having like a Lego box and you put out the Lego. And then of course, like there is this one shape that's on the cardboard, but doesn't mean that's the only shape you
You
can
can
make
build.
out of it. Like you can make it to be anything. Anything that you feel like at that point of time, anything that's making sense to you. You can build like towers, you can build like a flower, you can build like a duck, whatever it is. So I think unpacking your feelings is basically just going to your therapist, going to people you trust, and telling them how things make you feel,
And
how
also,
you
like,
feel about them.
Lego brick example, it can also sometimes really prick your foot.
Yeah.
No, if you walk over it a little
Yeah.
bit. But okay, like you pick it up.
Which
keep
is why
in a
you do
safe
it in a
place.
safe space. Like
Yeah.
you do it where there is matted floors.
Yeah.
You do it where, you know, you can call on somebody and like, I'm hurt.
Are we really good at metaphors?
Just
Let us know. 3 people.
if we're really good at metaphors,
Please
tell
let
us in
know.
the comments. And you also give us some.
Yes. What have you heard? What has your therapist told you?
About what unpacking is.
What has Instagram told you about these terms?
Yeah, unpacking is not, and also people confuse the unpacking is just venting. It's not.
It's not. Venting
It's not.
is
Venting
just
is an umbrella term for all talking. I feel like at this point
That's
of time.
true.
Venting is
Yeah,
just
you
like
vent about anything, stop.
It's just coming
And I'm
out.
boundary. I'm venting boundary now.
But yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
unpacking is just sitting
Making
together
sense.
and making sense of things. Making sense
It's like
of
a board meeting.
Or it's like you get the vegetables and then you make a dish. The dish can be whatever. The raw material is
Shit,
the
I'm
same.
hungry. Yes.
The raw material is the same. The
But
dishes
what
can
comes
be
out?
very.
We
Yeah,
have
that's
so many
quite
pearls
nice.
of wisdom today.
Yeah, it's like a free therapy class.
Really nice.
It's like a therapy class. Anybody who's learning from this,
Hmm.
we want you to tell us that you've learned from us. And it'd be really nice to get that
Yeah, this is a
validation.
threat. This is a really heavy threat. Shit. But yeah.
But anyway, I feel like that
Hmm.
we've had some conversations today.
Yeah.
And it's been
Nice
nice.
pearls. I'm gonna open my dock and write what
They're
you
nice.
told. No need, chillax. No hugs for this feeling of yours. The boundary. Unpacked, healed, unbothered, moisturized. I am therapy final
Fact.
boss.
Fact. Just pack it all up and go home.
Thanks.
Okay.
Okay, pack up.
Okay. Pack
Kaun
up.
bola pack up?
Pack up. Okay, everybody, thank you for being here for the second episode of Shrink Shake Pod.
Yeah.
This is Tina. I am Utkarsha. Like, share, subscribe, comment on all platforms.
Yes, follow
Instagram,
us on
Spotify,
Instagram, LinkedIn, Spotify.
YouTube.
You will find us everywhere. We're kind of insufferable.
Yeah,
with
just
that.
search the Coping Central and we'll be there.
We'll be there.
So
This is a
yeah.
threat. So many threats.
But no, thank you for being here. Thank you, hopefully, for being a lovely audience. And tell us what you want to yap. You want us to yap about. And you can also yap maybe
Yeah,
with
yap
us.
in the comments, dude. We love reading.
Yeah.
We'll read all of it. Just
Yeah.
write.
So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.